Today we are removing and replacing the AC compressor from this 2010 Lexus RX350. This is the easy way to do this, where you do not have to remove the radiator or the condenser to get the compressor out. The labor rate for this job is somewhere around 5 hours. It changes depending on where you're looking. However, with the steps I'm going to be going over in this video, it took me somewhere around an hour to do this AC job, not including the recharge of the system. But enough talking about it, let's get to it. Alright, the first thing you're going to need to do is remove this front cover. It's held in by, I believe, 8 10mm bolts. Once that is out of the way, you can see the compressor right here. The compressor has 3 electrical connectors. The first one is right here on the lower side. This one's a little bit difficult to see, but it is right up here. And then you have the actual command switch right up there with the gray connector right there. And then you have the high side and low side lines. They're connected right onto the upper front face of the compressor with 2 10mm bolts. Go ahead and remove all 3 connectors and the upper and lower compressor lines to completely isolate the compressor. Alright, go ahead and remove the front passenger tire, and then we're going to remove this side cover. It's held on by 2 10mm bolts and a little push tab back here. Mine was missing, so anyway, just go ahead and remove that piece of plastic out of the way. And we're going to remove the drive belt by applying force to the tensioner. It's right there. Alright, the tensioner bolt is a 14mm bolt, and after you are done applying tension to it in the counterclockwise position, 2 holes will align at the bottom of the tensioner. You can grab a little screwdriver or a metal pick and put them through the holes, and the tensioner will stay in place, making it much easier to reinstall the belt. Alright, time to start removing the harness that is blocking the compressor being pulled out. This is on the side of the engine. It's held on with a little black tab right here. Just press this up and you'll be able to pull this cover right off. And this is just a typical squeeze disconnect. Pops right off. And then we tuck this out of the way. We can get over to the rest of these sensors, and we're going to go ahead and remove these 2 12mm bolts, and that'll remove the lower bracket from the AC compressor. We're also going to remove this front clip, like so. You basically just push this button down while pulling the harness that direction, and it'll pop right out. We're also going to remove the lower clip with a needle nose pliers. Just press in the 2 sides of this tab right here and pull straight up, and that would free up the harness going over the front of the compressor. To get the harness off of the compressor, you can either remove the little clip right up here, it's difficult to see, or you can remove that 10mm bolt, and that'll come off with the compressor. Alright, the next step is to remove the 2 upper nuts. There's one right here, and then if you just basically look symmetrical from the bottom, you'll find the other one tucked up here underneath the alternator. Remove those 2 nuts. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and remove the studs that those nuts were on. To do that, you're going to need an E8 socket head. It's this little fun little 6-pointed star pattern. You can go ahead and crack those loose and pull them out the rest by hand. Alright guys, the compressor's out. Even with that 10mm bolt removed, this was still in the way because it turns out it's actually a part of the compressor, so I had to disconnect the harness from that by itself and maneuver it out of the way to get the compressor out. It is a very tight squeeze, but as you can see, I didn't remove the radiator, the condenser, anything. I was able to get the compressor out by itself. I did have to remove the 10mm bolt here for this lower cable. It mounts right there. And then you just slide this out of the way, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a bit of a struggle. It took me about 20, maybe 30 seconds of just playing with it to get the angles right, to move it out of the engine bay area, but I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it, so it's not that difficult. So I'm going to go over the reinstallation part right now. Alright, so I'm going to be reinstalling this with one hand, so I do apologize for the terrible video quality. But basically, you're going to want to rotate this up, just as how I'm holding it right now. And as you are putting it in, you have to rotate it to clear each little piece that's going to be sticking out of the compressor. And it's tight, you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but, you know, it fits, so you just gotta keep at it and you'll get it eventually. And then just keep rotating it past this point, and it's in. And once it's inside of the open area, you can rotate it to have the pulley towards the right direction. And that's pretty much it. You just saw it happen, so it can be done. But if you are having difficulty with it being tight, you can remove these two bolts right here. And this lower support frame bolt here, don't remove that bolt, just loosen it. You might want to put a jack here if you're doing this on the floor, just so you can control the leveling and loosening this bolt. I'm going to change my terminology here. We're loosening that bolt to lower this down probably about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. If this video helped you out, please don't forget to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.